The Bible tells us that God has a stockpile of goodness that he lavishly pours out upon his children. Psalm 31:19 says, "Oh, how great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee, which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of men." You know, we have a choice in this life. We can either trust God or we can trust man. And now, in everyday relationships, we've got to trust man to some degree. And we need to there's people that we need to put our trust in, but not ultimately, not the complete and utter trust of our existence, of our life, of our hope. That must go to God. And look what the psalmist says. First of all, he says God's goodness is great. It's great. This is the same Hebrew word that was used to speak of the wickedness of man in the days of Noah, that the wickedness of man was great in all the earth. In other words, it was abundant, it was big, it was over the top, it was so much so that God sent a flood to judge it. Well, that word is used to describe God's goodness here. God's goodness is huge. God's goodness is massive. It is incredible. God does that which is good, and he does that which is good in the lives of his people. And so as we read this, we realize how great is the goodness of God. And then he says, which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee. To lay something up, the word means to store it away, to hide it. So one of the things that ancient civilizations did was they took their grain and they stored it in places that they could hide it away from the enemy so that the enemy couldn't come and destroy their food supply. Well, this is a stockpiling. It's a hoarding, if you will. And this is what God has done with his goodness. In other words, what that means is that when God needs to implement some goodness in your life, he's already got it there, and he's got it stored up, stockpiled, and ready to go. He goes on to say, which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of men. To wrought something, we talk about wrought iron. It just simply means to make it. And we use it today to speak of artisan work that's been made by hand rather than something that's been cookie cut on a machine or a conveyor. Now I want you to just think about these three things. The goodness of God, number one, is great. Number two, it is stockpiled and stored up and ready for you. And number three, it is specifically made and designed by God for your individual situation. Do you know that? Do you believe that? Do you understand that? Do you live your life based on that? James tells us in chapter 1 and verse 17, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. Good gifts, perfect gifts come from God. And then again in the book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 28, it says, and we know that all things work together for good, to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. Now, like most promises in the Word of God, this one, it's designed for his people. He says there, he's laid them up for those who fear him. He says that he's wrought them for those who trust in him before the sons of men. I just want to encourage you this morning. God has a stockpile, a great and mighty stockpile of individually designed, handmade goodness for you. You need to trust him. You need to put your fear in God and trust him above the sons of men, because he is worthy of all of our faith. He's never broken a promise, and he never will. I hope that you know him. I hope that you put your faith in Jesus today. God bless you. Have a great day.